Sorry, boys, I can't hear anything.
Okay, Raunak, just a little uh, feedback. You look very nice. Your lips also move very nicely, but we couldn't hear a word you said.
Not one word. Yeah.
And I thought you were at your best then.
I was worried that it was just me there. I was sitting there going, okay.
Right, Dale, forget the tea time chat. Let's do on the ball with Dale
I'm
Steyn.
here.
And
Yep.
I'm here.
what do we
Am I
have at tea?
Can you hear me, my friends?
Yes, we
We
can.
have you.
I had such a good intro, and now it's such a shame that the only one who heard it was me. Even our producer didn't
Okay,
hear it. The producer didn't hear it.
so
So
give it a yeah.
let me give you take two of it, right? And take two of it goes as follows. I said it is tea on day 5, even though we still have 4 sessions of play left. It is tea on day 5. New Zealand have a 32-run lead. And what we've seen in this session, this middle session on the 5th day, is the sun for the first time at the Hampshire Bowl. So Dale Steyn has taken one for the team. He's pulled that abysmal weather from Southampton and taken it to Cape Town, as he was telling us just before we went live. But now that 20 wickets have fallen, 2 innings have come to an end. Dale, is this test match still just limping its way to a draw, or with the sun out, can we expect something else? Where do we stand right now, Dale?
I mean, I think it's safe to say that I wouldn't say it's never safe to say, but I think we are heading in the direction of a draw. But if India bat or New Zealand bowl the same way they bowled when they played against England recently, where they skittled them for 120 or something or 150, then we could have a game on our hands over here. I don't know if that looks highly likely, but you just never know in this game. But that would be New Zealand's only way of winning this. For India to win this would mean that they'd have to come out there, score particularly quickly, declare, and then try and bowl New Zealand out with not many overs left tomorrow. So if there's one winner in it, it's New Zealand. But we're trickling out to a draw.
Okay, now the novice's view of watching cricket in England, Sanjay, is when the sun comes out and there are white clouds or blue skies, all of a sudden it becomes easier to bat. We saw some brisk hitting from Tim Southee and Kyle Jameson. Could we see more aggressive batting, or run rates at more than 1-2 and over that we witnessed so far going forward?
I think Southee and Kyle Jamieson's batting was not so much because of the sun, but because of the situation. I guess they had the license from the captain to bat in that fashion, and tail enders towards the end, just trying to get a few runs more than India. Now, India unfortunately had to bat first, and I'm just imagining same scenario, because on first inning I don't think we've seen a far better team at this stage, and I don't think the first innings is telling us who's the likely winner is. But if India was in New Zealand's position, I think the same danger would have been there for New Zealand too, because as it turns out, New Zealand have a great chance of making something that is unlikely to happen, but could happen. And what the sun will do is just I guess make batting a little easier, which is the obvious thing to say. But now we'll have to see whether the swing bowlers of New Zealand, when the pitch, when they won't have much movement in the air, whether they become good seam bowlers and get something out of the pitch like Mohammad Shami did. So if they can
Okay.
do that, show their range as bowlers, would be fun to see.
All right, let's talk about Mohammad Shami, and I'll come back to the match situation after that. Standout bowler of this innings, Dale?
Yeah, he's at kind of height. He's always attacking the stumps. It's what we've spoken about. He got BJ Watling with a fantastic delivery. Got a couple wickets where he got the ball up, and as soon as he saw Jamison trying to take him on, I think he hit him for 6, maybe the ball before he went short. So he bowled smartly. He executed it well. Definitely the standout bowler. But I thought they all bowled beautifully. To have only 3 seamers, they went the distance today. Those 3 seamers. Virat was rotating them all the time, and you can see by the end of their spells they were a little heavy in the legs. It's been raining there. I was listening to the commentators say that the field is a little bit, feels like you're running on sea sand a little bit, and when you bowl 25 plus overs, the legs can get a little bit tired, especially if you haven't played much test cricket. So well done to Shami. I thought he bowled particularly well out of all of the seamers.
As it turns out, though, Shami, I'm sure you'll weigh in on Shami as well, Sanjay, but it's an innings that's been wicketless for Jasprit Bumrah. Not often we say that.
I think what you saw today It was just one innings, but what you saw today was interesting. You've got three quality seamers, but Mohammad Shami showed that he's one of those guys among the three who can call upon swing when he needs to more easily and can make it a potent weapon more than Ishan Sharma and Bumrah. Because there were occasions when he went full and the ball was properly swinging for him, but he's primarily a seam bowler. So when I looked at his 4 wickets, there are 3 wickets that came off short of length, good length deliveries, and one Ross Taylor delivery which was full. But he has this ability of being a swing bowler if conditions demand, which is great for India with the 5 test matches coming in England. Ishan Sharma made a 10, but he's not as lethal with his full deliveries and swing. Bumrah was a revelation. He really struggled to get the ball up and get it to move. So what you saw was a very accurate, hard-working, trying all the time to be hitting the deck, but he just failed to get any movement in the air and off the pitch as well, not as much as he normally gets.
Dale, would you like to weigh in on that as well? Bumrah, not often that we see him go wicketless, especially when he's bowled this much. But why did it not work for him in this innings?
Just a combination of some bad luck. I'd throw it in there too. I mean, when I was watching him bowl, he did beat the bat quite often. I thought he bowled with good pace. He had some good aggression, and sometimes it just happens. I've bowled on green tops before where I felt like, oh, this is it. I'm gonna pick up all the wickets, and it just doesn't happen. So he would have learnt from this first innings. And given that tomorrow's the only day left, he'll leave it all out there if he gets an opportunity to bowl tomorrow. But I thought he was a little unlucky. He did go past the bat quite often. And sometimes it just takes one wicket, even a soft dismissal. And I speak about it, the South Africans speak about it, everyone speaks about it. Sometimes a soft dismissal where you get a guy caught at mid-off. Yeah, you've bowled it fuller. That can sometimes get you going, and that's how you're able to pick up 1 or 2 more wickets. You just want a softie somewhere along the line for all the hard work you've been doing, just a loose shot or something like that to get you going. And he wasn't as lucky this innings.
I love the fast bowler's language. You need a softie somewhere to get you going.
Yeah. And I know that you would be a lot more open about discussing what the fast bowlers got wrong than Dale Steyn. He seems like a member of that club, right? So you can see the natural sympathy that is extended by Steyn.
Or maybe more understanding of the skill than sympathy.
Sure.
Throw that in. Yeah.
But I just had a quick look at Bumrah's test innings, and this would be only the third occasion where he's bowled over 20 overs and not got a wicket. The other 2 occasions being Centurion in 2018. Remember, it was a very uncharacteristic Centurion surface in that series when Bumrah made his debut. And after that, it was England, the Oval. Again, what we thought was a flattish surface. Now, there are 5 tests coming up. Sanjay and Dale, I'd like both of you to weigh in on this. We've seen Bumrah go wicketless here. We saw him at a pretty good time of it last time in England, though he didn't play the entire series. But what are the things that, after the evidence of just this one innings, you think he needs to work on to try and be a little more effective when conditions are somewhat favorable like this? Sanjay?
He went wicketless, you mentioned at Centurion, but in that series, he got a 5-wicket haul, his first 5-wicket haul of his career. Oval as well, he may have gone wicketless, but I think he had 2 5-wicket hauls there as well. So England, he quickly made adjustments, and I remember talking about that outswing that he bowled in England, and I said, wow, this guy is incredible that he's quickly developing, these kind of skills and extending his range as a bowler. Maybe he's going through a patch where he's not able to get a few things done. For example, we've seen Bumrah pitch the ball up, get it to swing. He just couldn't do that right through the test match. Every time the ball was up, it just went bolt straight. And off the pitch as well, maybe Shami was getting a little more off the pitch than Bumrah. So it is one of those, exhibitions where you didn't see the usual Bumrah effectiveness. So this is going to be an education for him. And maybe going forward, he'll start working on the ball where he could, on occasion, just release it if the pitch is not offering much and get it to swing. The outswinger, he can bowl it and the ball coming back in. And also maybe, I've felt even watching him in T20 cricket, IPL cricket, he doesn't use the crease as much. For somebody who angles the ball in, sometimes might be a good idea to just go a little too wide or get closer to the stumps. He's very happy being in one particular area. So if you look at his release points of his bowling, they are sort of all over the place. So maybe going forward, as he develops and evolves, as every young fast bowler does, maybe those are the areas that he'll start looking at.
Dale, any adjustments for Bumrah to make with 5 tests coming up?
Yeah, I 100% agree with Sanjay. I think he kind of stole the idea out of my mind there. I was thinking about, not everywhere in the world does it swing. And sometimes you have to find a way to get wickets. Obviously, in England right now, the ball is swinging and he's not getting it to do that. But the use of the crease then becomes super, super vital. And Sanjay mentioned it, and I have noticed about Bumrah, he seems to get into a rhythm of going in one place the whole time. Running in, his front foot lands in the same place, and he doesn't use that crease as much as a Shami, as much as a Tim Southey or James Anderson for that matter. So when the ball isn't swinging for him, he needs to find other ways in which to get wickets and other ways to draw the batsman into a loose shot on that off stump, just changing the angle a little bit. And that's something that he might need to work on going forth. Sometimes the ball doesn't swing due to the end that you don't like. You're bowling into the wind, you're bowling with the wind maybe. So I'm not too sure how that was working. I couldn't quite see. I didn't monitor it that closely as to which ends he was bowling from. But I think going forward, it's just something that he's going to have to work on. Just the use of the crease, and then just trying to figure out a way in which he can get the ball to swing a little bit more. Because in England, you need something through the air or off the deck.
All right. Now we're discussing a man who, of course, still averages 30 in England. But as Dale Steyn would tell you, he has told us, you'll see that in our coverage, that he didn't enjoy bowling in England, and yet he averages in the early 30s. Those are the high standards that some great bowlers tend to make for themselves, right? A lot of other bowlers might take an average of 13 places. But yeah, we'll see how Bumrah responds to a wicketless innings at the start of what is a long tour in England. Now, as we look ahead to this final session of play, you'd think, Sanjay, for any kind of excitement, if it is to come, there would have to be a collapse either in the third innings or the fourth. Now, do conditions in any way allow for it? Does the situation in any way allow for it? Is it likely?
I'm just trying to visualize what's likely to happen. Let's assume that the sun is out. There will be some movement of the pitch. I'd be interested in seeing whether the angle risk that we talk about, whether it gets the ball to swing in these conditions. It certainly swung a lot for Saudi. But the promising, aspect of that first innings was the way Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma played, and they might find things a little easier in the second inning. This batting lineup, who knows? There's a Virat Kohli there. There's a Rishabh Pant later. But I don't think anyone should be really judgmental about how India bats, in the sense if they bat well. And I don't think we should be talking about them, scoring runs quickly and setting a target, because they are in a pretty precarious position where they have to make sure that they first have some kind of a platform.
What we could see, Dale, likely, I'm not going to try and jinx it, but is 6 sessions on the trot for the first time, perhaps in this test match, without any interruption. Forecast seems good. Can things happen more quickly when you don't have as many interruptions, perhaps?
Yeah, sometimes. And we hopefully the weather plays its part and we get to see some play, just some rhythm of the game, But New Zealand will want to come out now after tea. They're going to be looking to take wickets. They want to have India 2 or 3 down without having taken over that lead just yet. That for them would be ideal. And if that happens, it puts them in the pound seats to pursue a win. India, on the other hand, are going to want to just knock off that deficit, set up a little bit of a platform for themselves where they can build on some partnerships and get going so that they don't get themselves into any trouble. The game could speed up now. There's some nice sun out. There might not be as much swing. So it's going to be for a fascinating play for the next 2 hours. I'm excited to see what happens because when there has been cloud, there has been swing. But now, if it seems to be sunny out there, it could be a little bit more batter friendly. So we'll see how it goes.
Yes, Sanjay.
Just a quick point on why this sport needs quality bowlers. Because with the limited time, we are seeing a match where we are talking about India could be possibly in a slightly vulnerable position at the start, because who knows, a collapse could happen. Why are we saying a collapse could happen? Because there is quality in that New Zealand bowling lineup. And why have India, remain in this game instead of conceding a huge lead to New Zealand after the way they batted, is because they have a quality bowling lineup as well. So, as long as quality bowlers exist in this sport, we'll continue to have fascinating test matches like this, despite time loss against all odds.
Yeah, and we don't make it easy for them, but they are the life of the game, aren't they, Dale Steyn? Just good bowlers.
Oh, yeah. They're the rock stars of the game, You can't win a test match unless you take 20 wickets. So, yeah. bowlers will keep this game entertaining. That's for sure.
Okay.
South
just as
Africa
I-
is an example. Do we have
Yes.
time? Because South Africa was an
Yeah,
example
please.
when they dominated and didn't lose a single test match overseas for almost 10, 15 years. They had a quality bowling lineup. Pakistan is a great example in the 90s when they dominated, test cricket. The only team that challenged the great West Indies at that time was Pakistan, not because they had a great batting lineup from 1 to 6, because they had three great fast bowlers in their team. And now that India is competing so well without warm-up games, and their performance in Australia has improved. They're winning more test matches in South Africa and England as well, is because now they have three, if not four, world-class bowlers. So it's all about the bowlers. You can have a great bowling attack and a maybe average batting lineup, and you'll still win more test matches.
Yeah, well, it is fair to say that you think the two best bowling lineups in this World Test Championship have found their way to a final. So let's see if they can trigger a little bit of excitement in 4 sessions to come. As I just look at the
Dave, do you want to respond to that? To the South African bowling
No,
lineup?
I
He agrees with me. He agrees with me.
Yeah.
I'm sure he agrees with me.
No, I agree. I would think I was part of that South African team for a while. So yeah, why not? But also it's just nice for India's sake. The last time South Africa toured India and they lost to India, it was the seamers that did the bulk of the damage. And I think from that point on, we started to see India seamers just kind of go on the rise. Whereas in the past, they may have relied on one or two seamers, So they've got an attack right now, a seam attack that can dominate anywhere in the world. They beat Australia in Australia, which was fantastic for them and great for the confidence. They didn't have to rely on Ashwin and Jadeja to do all the damage, So having good seamers that can bowl well outside of your home country is a great thing. That's if you can take 20 wickets away from home, then you're doing something good. And both New Zealand and India have exactly that, and that's why the two teams that are in this final right now.
All right. Well, let's pick up a conversation with Sanjay Manjrekar and Dale Steyn at the end of what will be the final session on day 5. And we'll see where the match stands then on Intel Presents ESPN Cricket for Match Day, powered by Royal Stag. Keep an eye out, see if some excitement is suddenly injected into this game. We'll discuss it at the end.